What's going on, Golf Addicts? DB here. It is U.S. Open week at the Country Club at Brookline, Massachusetts, and I got three sleepers. I guess, you could call these guys three sleepers in DFS or maybe long shots if you're betting. I think two of these guys do have a real chance at winning, and I love their outright odds. The third guy, probably not going to win, but maybe a decent long top 20 number. But all three of these guys, I think, are viable in DFS. I think two of them are going to be sub 10%. One of them for sure sub 3% in DFS. And there's one that I think has a lot of upside and enough upside that I think is worth the play. And he's probably going to come in around 10 to 12% right now. Now, I'm recording this early in the week, trying to get this out to you quickly. But just based on the general sentiment of these guys, where they fall in terms of pricing, especially on DraftKings, and how people are probably going to construct lineups, I don't know how many rosters these guys are truly going to get in. They're probably going to be names that people, talk about or tout, but I don't know how many times these guys will actually find their ways onto a lot of lineups. So I do think they can give you some leverage if you're playing big GPPs and big tournaments. And we know that, like, if you're forming a really solid GPP tournament lineup in a major, it doesn't mean that everybody on your team has to be sub 5%. Typically, you've got a couple of guys that you kind of ate some chalk on that are maybe 15, 20 plus. And then typically you got some guys in the middle in the low teens, and then typically you got a couple guys that are single digits. So let's get into it, and I'm going to start with the guy who I think is going to be the higher owned of the three. And he comes in at $7,600 on DraftKings. The best number you can find on him right now, I believe, let me look, I'm doing this. Yeah, right now on DraftKings, you can find Sungjae Im at 65 to 1 outright. That's right, Sungjae Im outright 65 to 1. I think that's a really good value for him. In fact, I find him at like 40 to 1 on a lot of other books. So if you can still get that number and you want to bet Sungjae outright, I would. And I think he has all the parts that fit the Country Club of Southern Hills. Listen, you got to do everything well to win a major. And Sungjae really does. He doesn't have a lot of holes in the game whatsoever. Unfortunately, he had to withdraw from the PGA Championship due to COVID problems. I think he had COVID and he was at home in South Korea. But he actually came back and bounced back nicely. I want to open up the screen on Fantasy National and show you what I'm seeing here with Sungjae Im. Let's pull him up. Now, if you want to join Fantasy National, you can go to fantasynational.com/TJ, save 20% off. Check that out. All right, here's Sungjae. So, he skipped PGA. He was around 14% at the Memorial, and he paid off. He finished 10th, right? That's really good. Now, you might think, well, that doesn't mean he's going to come in less than that, in this event. But I think it could be because of the way guys construct their lineups with, a lot of stud names in the 9, 10K range that people just don't pass up. And a lot of times you find people who, that mid sevens can sometimes be a wasteland of players. And Sungjae and the next guy I'm going to give you are both in that category. But I mean, coming right out of the COVID delay, finishes 10th at Memorial. But just look, like, not just short term, but in his entire PGA Tour career, there's just no holes in the boat for Sungjae. The guy just does everything well, and I love that about him. Let's pull up like his U.S. Open track record. Not too bad. 2 out of 3 made cuts, a 22nd in 2020 when Bryson won at Winged Foot, 21st last year at Torrey Pines. Let's see, PGA Championship, which not every PGA course I love as a comp here for the Country Club, but actually Kiowa and the Ocean Course, I think, is one of the more U.S. Open-like venues that we've had in a long time, and he finished 17th there. Now the Masters, I don't really see that it really plays anything like what the Country Club is, but just to give you an idea of his major championship pedigree, it's really freaking good. A second and an eighth at Augusta National. Sungjae's a stud player, man. He just is. And I think he's worth a look. And I think he'll be, in that 12% range. I don't think he'll creep up to 15. And when you've got, guys like this, in this category, the ownership can be diluted because there's so many options. But I think Sungjae is a guy at 7,600 that truly can win this golf tournament. And his top 5, top 10 upside is better than a lot of names around him. In fact, I think he has a higher floor than the next guy I'm going to give you. But before I do that, let me play a quick video for you. I need everybody to pay close attention. Mountain Valley in Pennsylvania, Pottsville, Pennsylvania, the site of the Golby's Cup, as well as the support group Saturday Scramble. This is the 18th hole of the mountain course. It's going to be a great day. Listen, you've probably played in plenty of scrambles, but have you ever played in a scramble where the scoring is based off DraftKings golf scoring? No? Well, you will if you come here, okay? It's just $200 for the Saturday Scramble event. Your ticket includes your golf, your lunch, your dinner, all your beer, all your wine, all your signature Tour Junkies cocktails, and a massive party on Saturday night with a few surprises as well. This will be a tournament you will never forget, I promise. So get here in September at Mountain Valley for the support group Saturday Scramble with the Tour Junkies. All right, we've sold about 60, 65 tickets. We want to get at least 100. We can get up to 150. Make your way there. I promise you it'll be worth it. The ticket cost includes all your golf, all your beer, all your wine, all your food. That's 2 meals, lunch and dinner, and a big party on Saturday night. And the most memorable 18-hole scramble you will have ever played in. I promise you that. And we've got you can stay the night on the range, bring camping gear, sleep on the range for free. If you have an RV or a camper, you can sleep in the parking lot, park it in the parking lot for free, and we have a hotel just 3 miles away that we've got discounted and blocked rooms still available if you want to check that out. I know it's kind of in the middle of nowhere, but the golf course has said we can literally do whatever we want. We don't have dress code. You can go shirtless. It's going to be amazing. You got to get there. Links in the description. All right, let me continue now. Now, the next player is more expensive than Sungjae. He's at $7,800, but I actually think his upside is equal as Sungjae's. I think he could really win this thing. I truly do. He's a PGA Tour winner, although it's been a couple years, but he's knocked on the door, and he's been knocking on the door lately, and he's got all the tools as well. He does have a hole in the boat that Sungjae doesn't. But Aaron Wise at 7,800 on DraftKings, he is at 80 to 1. I think that's the best number you can find on Aaron Wise. And I think Wise is probably going to come around that 10% range. He might be 10, 11, maybe 9 or less. I could be surprised. So I kind of think Sungjae and Aaron are just two high upside guys that are coming in hot that aren't going to be like super chalk, but I think they give you a lot of upside, a lot of tournament upside. Let's take a look at Aaron Wise on Fantasy National. I'll show you what attracts me to young Aaron here. Obviously, he's a long hitter. He's been a long hitter, and I think distance is critical at a U.S. Open. That's been proven. Okay, he's coming off a runner-up finish at the Memorial where he had a chance and he didn't get it done. But I mean, look at his iron play. In the last four events he's played, he gained almost 8 strokes in Mexico, 2.5 strokes at the Byron Nelson, 3 strokes at the PGA at Southern Hills, and 8 strokes again at Memorial. Like he is feeling himself with the irons. Okay, in his last four events, a runner-up and a sixth-place finish, and a 23rd place finish at the PGA Championship at Southern Hills. So his U.S. Open record, not as good as Sungjae's. He missed his first two tries, missed the cut. In 2019, the last U.S. Open he played in, he finished 35th. That would have been at Pebble Beach. Tiny greens there. Okay, that's not bad. PGA Championship, really good record. This past year at Southern Hills, 23rd. I think that's a comparable course. 17th, Kiowa, I've already said that is. He finished 17th there last year. 41st in 2019 and missed cut in 2018. He's got plenty of major experience for a young player. Love the distance factor. Love the iron play. Underrated short game for Aaron Wise, like very underrated, and it's been good since he came out on tour, and it's good right now. But here's what's crazy: we've joked about how bad Aaron Wise is as a putter. We've talked about it forever, like since he came out. He's a horrible putter. But look at what he's done in his last two rounds. He gained 4.6 strokes at the Memorial and almost 5 at Southern Hills. That is very interesting. Very, very interesting. Did he switch putters? I know he's been playing around with different putting styles and different putters and all that stuff. Something may have clicked. We don't know. Even if he was still putting like same old Aaron Wise, it's a lot like, it's like we'll take a bet. We'll take a gamble on a guy who tee to green has always been good and is coming in hot now, and just hope that he can have an average week on the greens or a better than average week on the greens to really show some upside. We see it happen all the time with bad putters. Will Zalatoris, for example. God dang, I mean, geez, at the Masters, at Southern Hills, like, he's a horrible putter. But if he does okay, or he has even one round where he really drops some putts, it can change where they finish in a tournament. So I love Aaron Wise. I think he's got a lot of upside. He's obviously a player that people know. He's not some unknown guy, but I truly love the upside. Now, the next guy I'm going to give you truly may be a guy that a lot of people don't know. Before I get to that, please give me a like, subscribe to the video, subscribe to the channel, like the video, comment. Here's the comment that I'm interested in. Drop your favorite $6,000 level sleeper on DraftKings. Drop that in the comments section, okay? If whichever 6K player finishes the highest, if you've commented that player, here on the YouTube channel by the time they tee it up on Thursday. If you've made that comment, now don't comment on Sunday evening because we're going to see the timestamp. Okay, we can do that on the back. Whoever has the best one, we're gonna send you a little Tour Junkies prize little pick play. Prize, what am I talking about? Prize pack. Good God. We'll send you that, all right? And if multiple people say the same player, we'll just pick one at random. So drop your favorite 6K sleeper in the comment section. But here's one for me. Um, and it's a guy that some of you guys may not know. Let me share my screen. He primarily plays on the DP World Tour, and we know about him because our boy old Mark Hill that has a DP World Tour podcast. He picks this guy all the time, but he never picks him when he wins. It's kind of unfortunate. It's Adri Arnaus on the European Tour, Spaniard, 51st in the world golf ranking. I want to show you something. This is his stats page on the DP World Tour website. Now, this dude is an absolute mauler of the golf ball. Look at look at the driving distance numbers here. Like he hits it real ball go far. Okay, which again, love that for the US Open. Fifth in driving distance on the DP World Tour, 25th in greens and reg. When you hit it that far, that helps your greens and reg numbers go up. Okay, putting, not so great, but this is what I want you to notice. It's actually the worst putting performance that he's on pace to have since 2019. Look at his putts per green and his average putts per round in 2019. He was absolutely dreadful, right? And then he had a pretty good year in 2020, but all things considered, had a better year. Look at last year. In 2021, he was ninth in putts per green and reg, or fifth in putts per green, putts per green and reg, and ninth in average putts per round. And so this year it's a little off, right? It's a little off. No big deal. Let's pull up some more Arnos screens here. Let's look at the trending table over on Data Golf. See what he's been doing. 16th was his last finish on the European Tour at the Porsche Euro Open. 30th at the PGA Tour Championship at Southern Hills. 48th at the Betfred Masters. That's a strong event. Won the Catalunya Championship. So, playing pretty well. And by all things considered, Data Golf says, based on it or against his baseline, he's actually in the positive, which is very nice, like that. I'm giving you a little sense of the form here. Now let's pull him up on Fantasy National, and I'll show you. Obviously, we're not going to have a lot of great stats from Fantasy National because it's going to be a very limited sample size. But we can see what he did at the PGA Championship. I mean, gained 5 strokes off the tee, almost 3 strokes on approach, over 1.3 strokes around the green, like, played very, very well on his way to a 30th place finish. His US Open record, he's only played in 1, and that was, at, Pebble Beach, where he finished 58th. Made the cut, that's good. PGA Championship, the only one he's played in was Southern Hills. So, he's got no Masters under his belt, and he's played in 1 Open Championship, and he missed the cut. So not a lot of major championship experience for Arnaus. I don't know how to say that, but the kid's a stud. He's got the distance. The iron play seems to be hot. He's a guy who just won, on the DP World Tour recently and played well at Southern Hills. I think it's a nice, promising play for $6,800. I don't know that I'd bet him outright at 150 to one. That's probably not smart, but a top 40 maybe could be an interesting number. I don't; those aren't listed yet, but this guy's got a lot of upside. He's got a lot of firepower. He can go low. So I think an upside number, an upside for Arnaus is probably a top 25. I mean, if he finished 30th at the PGA, I could see him finishing top 25 at the U.S. Open. So that's it. That's the sleepers, 3 sleepers for the U.S. Open at the Country Club. We got a ton more YouTube content that you can check out if it's not dropped already. We'll have some stuff going on. We're doing our live shows from Scotland. We're on a golf trip in Scotland, so check those out. That should be interesting. I'm babysitting Pat in a foreign country. So check out our Instagram if you want to see behind the scenes footage of that. All right. Let's have a great week. May your screens be green and bend over your bookie. See ya.